The bustling high school hallway is filled with students rushing to their next class. Jungkook saw Wyan walking to her class and approached her. She said sarcastically, they were notorious for their constant teasing and bickering, each determined to outwit the other. They were like oil and water, constantly clashing and never missing an opportunity to get under each other's skin. The students around them knew better than not to get involved, as these two were known for their razor sharp tongues and quick witted comebacks. Wine exclaimed as her eyes widening with display. Jungkook scoffed, trying to hide the sudden twist of emotions in his heart. Their lives took an unexpected turn when their families, who were aware of the brewing tension between Jungkook and Wyan, arranged their marriage in an attempt to unite their families. The news came as a shock to both of them. Their families ignored their protests and pleas, believing that union would bring about peace and prosperity, and they believed that their constant bickering could be transformed into love. But Wyan and Jungkook knew better. On their wedding day, the air was filled with anticipation and nervous energy. Wyan and Jungkook sat side by side on the grand stage, surrounded by their friends and family. Dressed in their finest attire, they whispered to each other. Wyan leaned closer to Jungkook and whispered, their whispered exchanges continued, filled with sarcasm and banter, while their parents and guests remained oblivious to their ongoing dispute. The priest began the vows, and Wyan and Jungkook exchanged glances. They repeated the words the priest spoke, adding their own remarks under their breath. As the newlyweds were pronounced husband and wife, the audience erupted in applause. Wyan and Jungkook knew that they were in for a wild journey together. She said as she saw Jungkook walking behind her. They come to school separately. He said and walked past her as she felt something, but ignored it like she do it every time. Everyone around them laughed, but Jungkook glared at them and stopped in front of Wyan. Next day, when Jungkook woke up, he didn't see Wyan anywhere in room. He sighed and did his morning routine and checked if she make anything for breakfast or not. He couldn't find her in whole house, so he thought that she might be out for a walk or for something else. He decided to make breakfast for himself. Jungkook is waiting for Wyan, but she is not coming back, and now he is getting worried about her. He decided to call her and reached for his phone and dialed her number, but she didn't pick. He tried again and again, but no use. He is getting more and more worried with each passing minute, and after 30 minutes of waiting, again he decided to find her and went out to find her. Jungkook walks briskly down the bustling street, his eyes scanning the crowd for any sign of Wyan. His heart races, fear gnawing at his insides. Finally, he spots Wyan up ahead, walking alone, her expression distant and lost. Jungkook quickens his pace, catching up to Wyan. He reaches out and gently grabs her arm, his voice filled with concern. Wyan looks up at Jungkook, her eyes red and swollen. She opens her mouth to speak but hesitates, the words catching up in her throat. Jungkook's confusion deepens. He knows Wyan as a talkative and spirited girl, never one to shy away from conservation or confrontations. He decides to ask if she is okay, his voice filled with genuine care. Wyan sighs heavily, tears welling up in her eyes. She gestured towards a nearby park, and they both head in that direction, finding a bench to sit on. They sit side by side on the bench, the sounds of nature surrounding them. Jungkook gently places his hand on Wyan's back, offering her comfort and support. Wyan looks into Jungkook's eyes, her voice filled with sadness and vulnerability. Jungkook's eyes widen in surprise, as this is news to him. He had believed Wyan's biological mother was alive, unaware that she had passed away, leaving behind a stepmother. Wyan leans into Jungkook's shoulder, tears streaming down her face. Jungkook wraps his arm around her, offering solace in her grief. They sit in the park, sharing the weight of Wyan's sorrow, their bond strengthening with each passing moment. The most radiant smiles often conceal the deepest scars, for the one who appears to be the happiest may carry within them the weight of 1,000 sorrows, their souls silently yearning for solace. True happiness is not always measured by external joy, but by the strength and resilience of a heart that has weathered countless storms. aside from the corner, finding her parents being childish. She watches them go back and forth, their voices growing louder. She shouted, and Ryan's eyes widened. She starts shouting and telling Jungkook to save her and kill the cockroach.